Hey guys, I got a special video for you. I get asked all the time, a Z20, a Z21, what is the difference? I'm gonna try to break it down for you today. You know, how deep they float, you know, how fast they get on pad, all the storage, how much leg room. We're gonna break it down. The differences between a Z20 and a Z21 right here for you. All right, so right here we got the Z20. And first off, I want to say both these boats have a lot of options on them. You know, this is a buddy of mine's boat, Mike Smith. He bought it from me. He's letting us borrow it today to do this. But, you know, I want you to also look at the base models because, you know, this has a lot of options on it. This one here has a lot of options on it. So, you know, as you put more options on it, the price changes of these boats. But with that said, you know, the Z20, you know, I'm going to have on the screen here the lengths and all the technical stuff so you guys can see it. But, you know, when you look at the Z20 and the Z21, you know, it's really not much difference. Like they say, it's a foot. You know, so where is that difference? Where is that foot difference? You know, when I look at the deck, there's a big difference in the storage. You know, the Z21 has split storage up front, has two little day boxes up front, to where the Z20, it has just one main box in the middle that opens up, two rod boxes, no little day boxes up here at all. So the deck is different. I feel like the deck on the 21 might be a little longer. We'll get the tape measure out and we will see. Both of these boats are dual console. I believe the Z20's got 50 gallons of fuel. That's correct. And the Z21's got 60 gallons of fuel. I want to just get up in there and start measuring stuff. And then that way I can compare it for you guys. You know, so the Z20 right here, you know, you look at this front, you know, it's basically 16 inches from right here to the front. You know, so I see that as a difference because when you get to the Z21, you got like, you know, 17, 18 inches. So you're gaining a couple inches, you know, when you go to step in the boat right there. So let's look at the length of the deck. So from that foot pedal to right there is 62 inches. I may be getting way too technical for you guys, but it is definitely longer. That's 70 inches. So you got 8 inches that you're adding, you know, to your deck right here on a 21. The width here at the very end, just the inside width, you know, we're at, you know, say, just call it 81 inches. And we'll look over here. No, we're at 80. No, we're at 81 inches also. So that's the same. What about up front? You know, a lot of boats, they get a lot narrower up front in the working space. So right there at the foot pedal, we are at 59.5. Let's look at this foot pedal. It's actually a little narrower, 58. So just a little bit narrower on the Z20 right up here. You know, then it starts to gain some width as it comes back. Another thing that I noticed right off the bat on the Z20, you know, right here, you've got the spare tires on right back here on the Z21, but I've got a little storage box, you know, good place to keep wheel chalk, something like that. You don't have that on the Z20. I think as we go through this, we're gonna see that, you know, the Z21 has just more added little features, you know, like this box, like these day boxes, just more storage boxes, more storage options as we start to go through this. So we'll try to point a few of those things out. You know, I'm sitting here looking at the front, and, you know, I've got a little storage tray right here with pliers and a drink holder right up here in the front of the Z21. I do not see one here on the Z20. So, you know, it's just another little added bonus. So you got a place to put pliers, a drink, those kinds of things right up here in the front. Okay, that's some basic features of the deck, you know, standing outside looking in it. Let's get in the boat. Let's start opening some compartments in each boat, start measuring a few things, and, you know, just start really trying to break it down to see where else, you know, that foot difference is between the two boats and some of the different features on the boat. So let's get in them and we'll check them out. Okay, looking at the deck of the boat, one thing I see different is I've got one pedestal pole right here, where on the Z21 I actually have two pedestal poles for changes. You know, that front pole might be for a sit-down seat, or, you know, somebody that might be a little shorter legs. So, you know, that's one option. We've got to find some differences because that boat costs a lot more than the Z20, so there's obviously going to be more options, standard type options on that Z21 over the Z20. So, you know, we mentioned this earlier, the front storage, and this is a buddy of mine's boat. He's got all his tackle in here, but you've got one big box right here with a couple dividers. You know, holds a lot of tackle. You can actually stack those a lot higher. I'm just real curious if these rod boxes are any different. I would have to think those are probably the same lids. Are really close. You know, when you open this up, it's got the rod organizer here in the 20, you know, plenty of space. Oh shoot, what do we got right here? It's 15.5 inches wide, still a great big opening. You know, I don't see a lot of difference here. You know, that's 60 inches roughly from the front to the back. Lots of room, you know, both sides to put plenty of rods, plenty of storage, all kinds of stuff. It does also have a light. I think there's a rope light up underneath here. Don't quote me on that, but, you know, plenty of storage, you know, in these boats, you know, when you start comparing both of them. Ice chest, that's going to be really similar between the two boats. You know, the removable trash can. My buddy here actually travels with his dog, so he's got extra dog food in here. But, you know, big ice chest. Let's just measure it just to make sure they're the same. That's 17 inches deep. And let's say the bottom portion of this thing, 16 inches. That's got to be the same. I can't imagine. That's 9.5. It's a little deeper. It's 17.5. Let's see the width. 16. They're the same. Those are identically the same. 13 by 33 is the lid. Let's see, this one here is 13 by 31. So it's a little narrower. That lid's a little bit bigger, so you got a little bit more length, it looks like, between the two ice chests. So, you know, here's where I think you start to see some differences between the two, is in this cockpit area. You know, like if we were to measure, let's just say center line to center line right here, that's 32 inches. Of floor space, and floor space to me is like one of the most critical things. There's some other boats that I've been in, different brands, that you just are really cramped right here in this area. And I love how much floor space we have in all our boats in the Nitro line. You know, this here, I got to remember now, I think I said 32 inches. Yeah, let's go over here and let's measure the Z21. 32 inches is what we got right here. So it is the same depth. That's shocking. I did not realize that. I want to get right here in the seat. And let's see. So I got the seat all the way back. What is the distance? How could I measure this distance? I measured, that's roughly 33 inches from the edge of the console to right here, 33 inches. I don't know, it's kind of, what man doesn't like to have a tape measure out looking at things? You know, this is one thing on the Z20. This is a 2023 Z20. They've changed some things in the 24. You know, this is just a center day box, you know, to where over there I've got a third seat option. You do have those options, I believe, on the Z20 to have another seat in here, but you might lose this added box that you have right here. Really a cool box. You can put a throw cushion on there. You know, me and my son, we fished a lot of high school tournaments out of it. We just put a throw cushion right there, and it worked great. And you still had a really good box here, you know, to put your phone, wallet, worms, gloves, whatever you needed to put in here. So cool box on the Z20 like they have on the Z21. Still plenty of space for side-by-side depth finders. A big difference, I believe, between the 21 and the 20 is going to be the keypad. You got the touchless keypad over here with all the different shallow water, like, I got the shallow water mode, the whole shot mode. I've showed you those in the past where you just push a button and it automatically goes to whole shot. Or when you're going to the front to fish, you push a button, it automatically goes to shallow water. It's just a really cool feature. That's an added bonus when you get the Z21, more features on it. That you don't have here on the Z20. Okay, so moving from the 20 over to 21, let's measure that cockpit. I feel like there's a difference in the two cockpits. So if we sit here and I measure right there, that is actually almost 39 inches. So there is a difference. Yeah, 39 inches. So that's a pretty significant difference. You can see this touch screen right here. That's what I was talking about, all the automation to control all the live wells, the lights, over there where it's just individual push buttons and you don't have that whole shot feature and that shallow water feature. So you got a little bit more space right here. The floor space is the same, but they've scooted those seats up just, what is that, 4 or 5 inches. I think that was 33, this was 39, so 6 inches difference of space, in here in this cockpit area. So that's 6 inches of that 20 to the 21, so that is a difference. I mentioned, the storage compartment here. This does have the added third seat that you can put in here. I've showed videos of that in the past, but you've got just a really nice storage compartment here of plenty of space to keep your stuff in here. And for 3 across seating is going to make a nice difference. Yeah, so, same setup here. You got plenty of room for 2 screens side by side. Dual console. You can see we've got lots of room between the boats. So now let's look at the back deck and see what the differences are on the back deck. So when I measure the Z21, this back deck, to right here is going to be 46 inches. So let me go over there and measure the back deck of that Z20. Okay, so when we measure this deck here, that other one was 46. This one's actually a little longer. It's 46 to this lip, but it's 48 actually to this vertical piece. So there's just an added little bit of deck space here on the Z20. That's kind of shocking. So you lose some and you gain some. I'm looking at the two boats. We've got them sitting here parked side by side. I feel like they've shortened it up. We might have lost an inch or two right back here once we leave the back deck and go to the jack plate. So we'll measure that shortly. But these compartments, I believe they're going to be exactly the same. That's 26 inches. He's got all the stuff in here, but you can see you've got a box that pulls out, really cool. That lid's 26 inches. Let's measure the live wells. I know for a fact those are exactly the same. It is a really, really deep live well. That thing's 17 inches deep right there. How long is that thing? Oh my goodness. It is 26 inches that direction. Everything's rounded. And it's got a baffle in it, so it's kind of hard to measure. So a cool feature that Bass Pro has is it looks like it's 15 inches wide. But what I'm talking about, it has this baffle. All Bass Pro boats have a baffle, and it fills up to that baffle, and it keeps fish, like when they're, a fish is going to sit in there with his nose up on the wall, and he can't jump out, and it also helps keep water from sloshing a bunch in those live wells. Really a cool feature on all Nitro boats, their live well system. Really, really cool. Sitting here in the Z20 and just talking about a few of the features that it does have. I don't want to sound like this boat doesn't have a lot of features at the Z21. It still has the, the removable measuring stick right here, the dip net storage, the completely separate live wells. It's got a fill pump, a recirc pump, a pump out. It's got a lot of everything you need in a boat. You've still got the storage in the middle, the seats, still really good seats that slide forward and backwards, tilt steering. You can add the features of the blinker style, trim and tilt for the jack plate. Both these boats here have got Atlas jack plates on them. It is super rough. I really wanted to get out and do just a hole shot, just to compare a hole shot. We might be able to do it just right here behind this island before we get out in those big waves, because it's really blowing. My plan was, you know, to kind of run both of them and show you, you know, there's a big thought that the Z20 is faster, and it is going to be a little bit faster. It's a little bit shorter boat, but not a lot faster, maybe just a mile or two faster. You know, I've run both of them. You know, Rick Clunn, he runs the Z20 all over the country. He fishes the elites out of it, has for years, and this is the boat he fishes out of. So, yeah, the Z20 is really great. It's got a lot of great features to it, but the Z20, it'll catch just as many fish as that boat over there, I guess I should say. You know, just it's got 10 gallons less gas. It has a few less features on it, a few less storage options on it. So, you know, when you're looking at the price and you're looking at the differences, you know, those are the things that I guess I'm kind of really wanting to point out to you what they are. You know, one thing I do want to put them in the water. To me, a big thing is how shallow does a boat float? I'd like to see the difference. I have no idea which one floats shallower. I've always thought a bigger boat would displace more water, thus, you know, more surface area, thus floating a little shallower. So I'm gonna be interested once we get these in the water. I built a stick ruler deal to be able to stick underneath there and measure how much water it actually is drafting. So other than that, you know, it looks to me like the backs are a little different. I've got a really nice step platform on the Z20, a little bit bigger, you know, but you've got one here, it's just a little narrower. You know, one thing that you consider, you know, anytime you lengthen a boat also, it's gonna ride a little better. You know, being a foot longer, you're spanning waves. So your ride on a 21 is gonna be a little bit better than it is on a 20. It's just a given fact. The 20 is gonna ride better than the Z19. You know, just anytime you add length to a boat, you're spanning those waves to where, you know, it's not gonna hit as hard between them. So always keep that in mind. There's really no substitution for length in a boat and how it's gonna ride in rougher water. So that's really important to point out. You know, longer the boat, the better it is gonna be to ride. So yeah, the Z20 is gonna be faster, a little bit faster, you know, mile to an hour faster. You know, you're putting the same size engine on a shorter boat. You know, it's gonna weigh a little less than the Z21. You know, we've got all those specs on the website. You can look all those up. But then that boat's gonna ride just a little bit better, I think, over the Z20 in my opinion. All right, so next, let's put these boats in the water. Let's see which one drafts more water. So before we put these in the water, you know, I really, my own curiosity, I wanted to compare the bottoms of the boat. You know, when I look at the bottom of the Z20, you know, the chines on it are really sharp. You know, they're like just a half moon, really, really sharp, where the chines on the Z21 are quite a bit flatter. And I'm talking about these things right here. You know, when you look at these, you know, it's flatter as it comes down. You know, you've got, I don't know, there's some technical words, some dead rise type stuff in that. So when you look at the Z20 and you see how this has got that really sharp chine, like those are just half moons, I kind of feel like those give it an added lift, you know, because this boat, you know, running it, it feels like you're going a lot faster. In reality, you're not, but it's a lot more lift. And it's probably because of these really cool chines, because those actually catch air, raise that boat up a little bit, catch water, pushes it back down, and raises that whole boat. You know, one thing that I really like on my Nitro boats, and both of them have it, is the rapid planing transom. And what that is, you can see it here on both of them, it's this hole right here in the transom. What that does is, as that boat's pushing, it allows air to get in there to get it up on pad. You know, a lot of times a boat has a suction to the water as it's trying to break over. Well, Nitro is one of the very few boats, it's a patented system, is this rapid planing transom, and it's that hole with vents in it that allow air to get in there that really gets that boat up on pad really, really quick. I run both these boats. Both these boats have 23 pitch props on them. Just a Fury 23 pitch that runs really well on both these boats. I really wish it wasn't blowing as bad today, because we would take them out and run them and just show you the difference in the speed and all that, because they're both full of gas. We've got them equipped, you know, fairly the same with the amount of tackle, but I just don't think it's supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to blow today like it is, but it's getting after it. But I just wanted to show you the transoms and how they're set up like that. So now let's get them in the water. right, so I built this so we could see which boat floats shallower. Do they float the same, deeper? You know, all the time being from Oklahoma, there's times that I like to try to get back in an area that's shallow to get into. So I'm hoping I can stick this underneath the boat and we can measure how many inches it drafts. This would be 12, 13, up to 22. So we'll see how this works. I would say that boat drafts, that looks level to me, 15 inches. I've got that right there. It would be in the deepest portion. Now, if I have my camera guy go stand on the front, we'll see how much that brings the back up. So we're gonna see what happens here. All right. Alex, the camera guy, weighs, we gained 2 inches by him standing in the front. That's crazy. My Z21 drafts between 15 and 14 inches, 60 gallons of fuel, tackle, you know, it's got stuff. This box is full, that box has got tackle in it, 5 batteries, 2 power poles, hydraulic jack plate. So the more weight you obviously take off of it, the shallower this thing's gonna draft. So now let's check the Z20 and we'll see what it drafts. All right, let's check the Z20. Put my stick way down there. This is always the deepest portion of a boat. That's level. I think it drafts 1 inch deeper because I'm using the water as my level on my line. Looking at that looks like 16. If I bring it to 15, it's not quite level. This has got 50 gallons of fuel, hydraulic jack plate, power poles. He's got more tackle in the back than I have over there, but he has 5 batteries. The Z21 floats shallower though. That's an inch difference all day long. Now, if you put somebody up front, obviously that's gonna come up a little bit, but I was just always curious which one drafted shallower, you know. I'm thinking in tournament situations, man, do I need a Z20 to get back into a shallower area? But the Z21 definitely drafts shallower. That's kind of a cool little deal we did right there. You know, with both boats sitting right here side by side, you know, that Z20 in the bow sits, you know, just a little bit higher. In my mind, it's gonna, you know, not have as much splash, not as much waves come over as you're running, you know, over the Z21. You know, that might be that added length, thus, you know, a little more weight, bringing that nose down. But the Z20 actually, with, you know, nobody standing in it, sitting side by side, is just a little bit higher sitting in the water when you look at these boats sitting side by side. To get out and do just a hole shot, just to compare a hole shot. All right, here we go. We're gonna time it. I've got everything trimmed down. I've got full fuel. It's kind of wavy out here, as you can see. 1, 2, let's just start dead zero. That's probably the best. So I'm 2.2, I'm stop. Just put it in gear. Mark. Set, go. I'd say 7.2 seconds is what that was. I was up on pad and going. Man, there's some waves out here today. All right, test number 2. Get it down to sitting still here. Let these waves subside. All right, mark, set, go. Seven seconds. We're on pad in 7 seconds, that's good. One great thing about Nitro is no backwash on that back transom, you know, especially on the Z21. We'll see what the Z20 looks like, but, you know, no water at all. So let's go get in the Z20. Let's see how long it took. One time took 7.2, the other one was 7. Pretty rough conditions. And I was up and going good. It wasn't at the breakover point. The breakover point was like 4 seconds, but I was up to speed, you know, at 7 seconds. So feel pretty good about it. You know, one thing I noticed as I jumped over here in the Z20, I'm sitting up higher. When we get back over, you know, I don't have my tape measure, but I'm assuming to get the fuel, they've raised these seats up just a little bit, which is a really good thing, you know, and maybe the reason Rick Clunn loves to run these boats. He's always wanted boats that you have really good visibility. You know, the Z21, you're sitting down, you don't have quite the visibility. In the Z20, I'm definitely up higher. Like I can see all over the bow, which is a good thing. All right, here we go. We're gonna test the Z20. 3, 2, 1. That's a lot quicker. No doubt quicker. And we do it out here in a little rougher water. I felt like I was in rougher water when I did it the first time because we had a boat idling out. All right. Come to a standstill. I'm gonna try to go down these troughs. 3, 2, 1. It's hard to say. That time was 658, but I had a couple big rogue waves we went over. It's pretty choppy. Let's get over here and we'll turn back around and see if we can get a better number. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. 626. So I'm going to say this boat's a second faster. I got out here in the similar conditions as that first, you know, when I did the Z21, so it's a second faster. It definitely gets on pad quicker than the Z20, and you would expect that, being a shorter boat, a lighter boat, same horsepower engine. We got the same props on both boats, so again, this boat is a little quicker than that Z21. So do you sacrifice length or do you sacrifice speed? You know, that's the things that you're going to think. Do you want a little bit faster, or do you want a little bit smoother ride? Do you want a little bit more boat, or do you want a quicker hole shot? So those are the things that that's the decision you're really making here when you think about the Z20 versus the Z21. You know, it's just the layouts are really similar. There's obviously some more features on that Z21, but man, the Z20, there's a comparison. You know, the Z20 definitely got on plane a little bit quicker. The Z20, I just know from history and running both boats, the Z20 is a little bit faster than the Z21. But then, you know, the Z21 on a day like this is going to ride a little smoother. It's going to be a little bit drier. We showed that it floats a little bit shallower. It's got a little bit more features, a little bit more storage in it. So, you know, you've got a trade-off there. You got, you know, a little faster, quicker hole shot, more comfort, bigger boat. You know, two great boats, you know, just a foot difference, and you can show what the differences are now, you know, trying to see how fast it gets on pad, how shallow it floats, those things. Two really cool boats. You get a lot for your money with both boats. I'll just put it that way. You can't go wrong either way. All right, so there it is, the Z20, Z21 comparison. I thought it was really interesting. You know, you can't go wrong either way is what I say. You know, the value that you get for the amount of money that you spend on either one of these boats, the features, both great boats, both a lot of boat, a lot of features for the dollar that you're gonna spend. You can't go wrong with either one. You guys let me know in the comments which one you would pick. You know, a little bit faster over maybe a little bit more comfort, a few more features. Both great boats. You can't go wrong either way. Hope you enjoyed the video.